So when I saw a notice on the regimental board asking for officers to apply for the SAS, I put my name down, not because I knew anything about the SAS. In those days, nobody had ever heard of them. It was before Harold Wilson started to use them for PR purposes. I had obviously heard of Scandinavian Airlines services, but so I got sent to Hereford, which is where you go to get selected for the unit, and I found there were 190 soldiers trying to get in, 30 other officers, pretty much all of them built like brick houses, ex-paras. None of them came from a cavalry regiment. They called me a donkey walloper. So, to be honest, I was quite happy when this lot got ruthlessly eliminated in only 10 days, down to only 3 soldiers and 2 officers. And to my surprise, I was still there. I think probably because they were choosing people from a physical, not intelligence point of view. But sadly, on the 11th day, they switched. So I had to try to become alert. And I can remember, if you failed anything, you got thrown out immediately. And what me and the other remaining officer were having to do one night was to cross the local river outside Hereford by night in winter with no clothes on for some military reason. So I woke up extremely knackered the following morning at about 11 o'clock. You're meant to get up at 6 o'clock, and I panicked because they leave your instructions every day on your bed. And what it was that particular day was to steal £200,000 from the local bank in Hereford in great detail, which the SAS check after. I had Barclays, the other officer had Lloyd's. So I rushed down to the town, but the bank was already closed, so I could not get in to do a careful burglary plan. So I went round the back and I banged on the back window, and luckily the bank manager came out. He was a charming bloke, very naive. I explained I had come from Germany. I was trying to get into the SAS. I had brought all my family silver with me. This bit was not true. And he said, no problem, we at Barclays are extremely secure. He showed me all the electronic burglar system, so I thanked him. And in those days, carbon paper, I copied the bank raid plan in great detail, one copy to the SAS just in time, and me and the other bloke had the day off, so we went up to Birmingham, we saw a film and had a spaghetti dinner, and very stupidly after dinner, I left my copy of the bank raid plan in the restaurant. And the manager, later in court, basically gave the plans to the police. There was a ministerial inquiry in Westminster, front page of the Times, why SAS officers were stealing from banks. I was up before the commanding officer, who basically said any more behave like this and I would be thrown out of the SAS immediately. Well, for the next year or two, I behaved pretty well in different parts of the world, doing different things. But briefly, back in the UK, unfortunately, I got phoned by an old Eton friend who, by that time, like most of them, had become a wine salesman in the West Country. And during the course of selling his stuff in pubs down there, he had discovered a village called Castle Combe, which had just been voted Europe's prettiest village by the Americans. And it was being attacked by 20th Century Fox, making a film in this beautiful village called Dr. Dolittle, which involved turning trout stream thatched cottages into a dirty Great Lake with a 20-foot concrete dam, ruining the village. And my friend decided to bring this outrage to the general attention by blowing up the entire concrete dam the night before the film started, which is a good PR plan. Unfortunately, the police got to hear about it. They put Alsatian dogs all over the dam, but my friend had been at Eton, so he was up to that one. What he did was to rent 8 Alsatian bitches in order to put them upwind of the dam. But at the last minute, the bitches failed to turn up, so he phoned me to ask if I would stand in. Because I had just completed an army explosives course where you learn to blow up as much as you can using as little as possible. And I was pretty good at this, so I had a lot left over at the end of every day. And it seemed stupid to give it back to Her Majesty, so I put it in the boot. And 2 months later, the boot was full and sweating. And what better way of getting rid of it than this public-spirited gesture? Unfortunately, everybody was caught. I was not physically caught. I'd been doing another army course on how to escape from dogs by night.